Okay, so you're here listening because you want to cut through all that noise and really get smart fast.
That's right.
Especially when something big comes on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And today, something huge has hit the design world.
Absolutely.
It's making some pretty bold promises about how we even create visuals.
It really is. We're talking about OpenAI's latest creation,
Okay.
GPT-4o. It's an image generation model.
Okay.
And it sparked a lot of excitement, a real frenzy, actually.
I bet.
There was an article on Funkshots just recently that even declared that this technology has made everyone a designer overnight.
Overnight designer.
I know.
That's a pretty big claim, isn't it?
It is. It is a tantalizing idea.
Yeah, so our mission in this deep dive is to really dissect that claim.
Yeah, break it down.
We really want to understand GPT-4o, explore what this might mean for businesses who are trying to visually connect with their audiences.
For sure.
And crucially, what it means for the design experts out there.
Absolutely. The people on the ground already doing this work.
Yeah. So if you're wondering if you should believe the hype, or maybe you're just trying to wrap your head around all of this, stick with us. Let's dive in.
Let's do it. Let's start by understanding why GPT-4o is generating so much buzz.
Okay.
Why is this such a big deal?
Yeah.
What's the fundamental shift it offers?
Okay.
That has people so excited?
Well, it seems like at its heart, the promise is that you can conjure up compelling visuals just by describing them in everyday language.
Just talking like we are.
Like we are right now.
Exactly.
No more needing to master complex design software.
Right.
Or even going through lengthy briefing processes.
Which can be such a pain.
Ugh, it can be such a pain.
Back and forth, back and forth.
So many emails.
So many emails.
The FinShots article really emphasized this potential,
I did read that.
They even described the model as producing breathtaking results.
Breathtaking is a strong word.
Yeah.
But I think it might be warranted here.
Yeah, and they said that it just seems to get everything right.
Huh, interesting.
It can create those photorealistic images.
Wow.
Nail all the details.
Okay.
And truly understand the context of a request.
That's really the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
To actually understand what you mean, not just what you say.
Yes, exactly.
So it seems like the big takeaway here is that all of a sudden, anyone can create really high-quality visuals.
Yeah, it's within everyone's reach now.
Potentially everyone's reach.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the output.
Yeah.
But I think what's even more fascinating is how GPT-4o actually achieves these results.
Yeah, the magic behind the curtain.
Exactly. The article mentions some key technological differences compared to earlier AI image generators.
Right, because this isn't the first one?
Not at all. Not at all.
What aspects of its underlying tech caught your attention?
Well, I think the big one is this idea of an omnimodal model.
Omnimodal?
It sounds a little jargony.
Yeah.
But it essentially means GPT-4o can understand and connect different types of information.
Okay.
So we're primarily talking about text and images right now.
Right.
But the article even hints at audio and video down the line.
Oh, wow.
So it really has the potential to be this all-encompassing creative tool.
So it can understand what we're saying, and it can understand what we're showing it.
Yes, exactly. And not just understand it, but connect those two things.
Okay.
Which is really crucial for generating visuals that truly match our intent.
Okay, so how is it so good at understanding our instructions?
Yes, the prompts.
The prompts.
This is where GPT-4o really shines.
Okay.
The FinShots piece highlights a crucial point. GPT-4o was trained on a combination of words and images together.
Okay.
So it learned to grasp the meaning and the intent behind what we're asking.
Not just the literal words.
Exactly. It goes beyond just following instructions to the letter.
Like a robot.
Like a robot. Exactly.
This is more like talking to a human.
It's getting closer to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the difference between someone who just blindly follows your directions, even if they're a bit unclear, versus someone who actually gets what you're trying to achieve.
And can fill in the blanks.
Exactly. And that's what makes GPT-4o so powerful and easy to use.
Okay, so that's how it understands us better. But what about the actual image creation process?
Right, because there are different ways to generate images with AI.
Right.
The article contrasts GPT-4o with these things called diffusion models.
Okay.
Which have been pretty popular in AI image generation.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Can you explain how diffusion models work?
And how GPT-4o takes a different approach.
Sure. So imagine you have a snowy, static-filled screen.
Okay.
And you slowly start painting an image onto it based on a description.
I see.
That's kind of how diffusion models work.
They start with noise and then refine it.
Exactly. And they can create some impressive results.
Yeah, they're good at that.
But the catch...
There's always a catch. If you want to change something, even just a small detail, you often have to repaint the whole picture.
Really?
Or use some really complex workarounds.
It doesn't sound very efficient.
No, it's not. They're not great for making iterative changes.
Okay, so that lack of interactive step-by-step editing?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big limitation for a lot of users.
Definitely.
Now, GPT-4o uses a different approach.
Right.
Called the token-based approach.
Okay.
Can you explain how that works?
And why it's better for editing. This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
And maybe a bit more intuitive.
Okay.
For those of us who think in terms of language,
I like that.
GPT-4o treats an image like a sequence of tokens.
Tokens.
Almost like words in a sentence.
Okay.
But these words describe the visual elements.
So it's like a language of visuals.
Yeah. And the big advantage here...
I bet there are a few.
...is that it can pinpoint and update specific parts of an image...
Okay.
...without regenerating the whole thing.
Oh, wow. So you don't have to start from scratch every time.
Exactly.
That's a big time saver.
The article gives some examples. Like you could ask it to add a tree. Or move that chess piece.
And it just does it.
Yeah, and it only changes that part of the image.
That's incredible.
It's less like sculpting from clay.
Okay.
Which is what diffusion models do.
Yeah.
And more like rearranging Lego bricks.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, it's much more precise and controlled.
So that token-based approach makes GPT-4o a lot more flexible.
Yes, much more adaptable to changes.
And the article also mentions GPT-4o's knowledge base.
Right.
It's existing knowledge.
It's not starting from scratch.
Exactly. It's been trained on so much data.
Text and images.
Tons of it.
It has a pretty good understanding of the world already.
Which is amazing to think about.
Yeah, so when you ask it to create something, it's not starting with a blank slate.
It's building on what it already knows.
And that probably helps it create more accurate and relevant images.
Makes sense.
So we've talked about how GPT-4o works.
The tech behind it. But let's talk about its real-world impact.
Yeah. How is this going to change things?
The article suggests that it could be really transformative for marketers and businesses in general.
I can see that.
What are some ways they might be able to use these capabilities?
Well, I think the most immediate impact is that it makes visual creation accessible to everyone.
Even if you're not a designer.
Exactly. You don't need to be a Photoshop wizard.
Or hire a whole team.
Yeah, you can just describe what you want.
And GPT-4o can create it for you.
It's like having an instant design team at your fingertips.
I love that.
And imagine being able to generate and refine those marketing visuals in real time.
Oh, wow.
Without needing any special skills.
Yeah, that would speed things up.
So much faster.
The article highlights the potential for businesses to dynamically create product images.
Oh, that's interesting.
Showing different variations.
Like colors or styles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even tailoring those images to individual customers.
Wait, so like if I'm shopping online, the product images could change.
Yeah, based on my past purchases.
Or what I've been looking at.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Think about how personalized that e-commerce experience could be.
Yeah, that's the next level.
And the article also talks about A/B testing visuals.
Oh, that's a good point.
You could test so many different ad creatives.
Just by describing them.
Imagine the data you could get.
Yeah, you'd know exactly what works best.
For different audiences.
And then you could tailor your campaigns even more precisely.
Exactly, and you could even adapt your entire campaigns on the fly.
Based on how they're performing.
All through language prompts.
That's powerful stuff.
Beyond marketing, the article talks about rapid prototyping.
Oh, yeah, for like user interfaces.
Yeah, and user experiences.
You could see your ideas come to life instantly.
Yeah, get feedback so much earlier in the process.
That would be a game changer for software development.
And for content creators.
Oh, yeah.
Think about generating eye-catching thumbnails.
For videos or articles.
Yeah, that could really impact their reach.
Absolutely.
Like the article says there's something in it for everyone.
Everyone in the business world, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about all these potential benefits, but there's also a big question that the article brings up.
The elephant in the room.
Exactly. What about the designers?
What about their jobs?
This kind of technology always sparks fears about job displacement.
Understandably.
What's the article's take on that?
Well, it offers a historical perspective.
Okay, I'm listening.
It reminds us that throughout history, new technologies have often led to anxieties about job losses.
Like the robots are coming for us.
Yeah, but the reality is often more complex.
More nuanced.
And less catastrophic.
Okay, so it's not always doom and gloom.
Not necessarily.
Can you give some examples from the article?
That illustrates its point, sure. So the article talks about the 19th century.
Okay.
When mechanized looms were introduced.
Yeah.
People feared mass unemployment.
Among textile workers?
Yeah. But instead of eliminating the industry, it actually led to its expansion.
Yeah, wow.
And the creation of new jobs within those factories. A more recent example is ATMs.
Right.
People thought that bank tellers would be out of a job.
Yeah, that was a big worry.
But their numbers actually increased.
What?
Yeah, because banks shifted their focus
to other things,
to customer service and building relationships.
So the nature of the job changed.
Exactly.
And those are just two examples.
Yeah, the article goes on to talk about personal computers.
Oh, yeah.
People thought they would eliminate jobs.
Across the board.
But instead, they created entire new industries.
Like
software development.
The whole tech sector, basically.
Yeah, and then there's e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
People thought it would kill traditional retail.
Yeah, I remember that.
But what we've seen is an evolution.
Towards online and physical stores working together.
Exactly.
So it seems like humans are pretty adaptable.
We're good at finding new roles.
New opportunities.
How does the article think this will play out with GPT-4o?
In the design world.
The key message is evolution.
Not extinction.
Designers will likely embrace these new AI tools.
And integrate them into their work.
Yeah, the article even asks who's smart enough to do it quickly.
So it's about being ahead of the curve.
Learning these new technologies.
And adapting your skills.
Yeah.
So maybe the role of the designer will change.
It might become less about the technical skills and more about the creative direction.
The big picture thinking.
Using AI as a tool
to bring their visions to life.
More efficiently.
Exactly.
So we're nearing the end of our deep dive.
Time flies.
Let's recap the key takeaways about GPT-4o.
And its potential impact.
For me, it's the combination of its omnimodal nature,
its ability to understand both text and images,
its superior grasp of concepts,
and that token-based architecture
that allows for precise editing.
All of that together has the potential to revolutionize
how visuals are created and used
across so many fields.
Marketing, business communication,
content creation.
The barrier to entry is lower now.
Much lower.
And that's a big deal.
So while the idea of everyone becoming a designer overnight might be a bit of an exaggeration, the power and accessibility of this technology are undeniable.
And there are still questions,
of course,
about the impact on designers.
But history shows us that humans are adaptable.
We find new ways to contribute.
New opportunities emerge.
We hope this deep dive has given you a clear understanding
of this exciting new development in AI.
You should now know what GPT-4o is capable of.
And some of its potential impacts.
But we'll leave you with one final thought.
Something to ponder.
Given this rapid progress in AI image generation,
what other creative fields
might be on the verge of similar overnight transformations?
And what skills will you need
to not just survive,
but to thrive in those evolving landscapes?
Food for thought.
As you navigate the world of AI and its impact on creativity.
Thanks for listening.
It's been a pleasure.